Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 8. Yeah, no, it's kind of late, but whatever. And, honestly, let's just jump in, because right off the bat, I want to talk about the significance of that ending scene, the scene with Bakugo and the League of Villains, because I remember a lot. That when Bakugo was first kidnapped, it got a lot of fucking backlash from fans. Like I was saying, oh, this is just going to be the Naruto Sasuke situation all over again. Like, it was like the. But people were really worried about whether or not it was going to be a Sasuke incident all over again. But now, now that we've basically seen it, we can all rest assured and take a breather of the fact that this that after that we can all rest assured and be reassured that there's not much chance of that happening anymore, or at least not for a while. It could still happen in the future, but at least from what we see of Bakugo's response, Bakugo's answer to Shigaraki's little proposal. Yeah, Bakugo just rejected him flat out. And the thing is that Bakugo's rejection of the League of Villains is a scene that has been building up for quite some time. When you look at the whole series as to where it started and where it's ended up, it's a scene that's been building up for quite some time and wouldn't have even been possible to begin with at all if he hadn't gone through all the development he has from previous seasons. And I know that, and the thing is, I definitely know that Bakugo's whole attitude, everything about him, can definitely be a turnoff. But here's the thing: there's definitely a difference between development and a character trait. Bakugo's whole explosive, like I'm gonna kill you fuckers kind of thing. That isn't any that is nothing to do with his development. It's just part of who he is as a character. But if you really look deeper beyond the personality, you can see that this is something that has been building up for quite some time. And when you look at it that way, it's really well deserved. Like Bakugo, he just said, fuck you." He said to the League of Villains, "Fuck you guys. I'm basically aiming to be like All Might. I'm not looking to join any you scum sucking worm bags or anything like that. So any you scum sucking shit bags or whatnot like that. But yeah, so Bakugo, it was definitely one of those scenes that felt a lot more natural than it should have. That there's a lot more natural when you look back on things. Now, there is one thing I want to talk about before I get back into talking about the contents of the episode itself, which is the pacing. And no lie, the first at least half of the episode did have a bit of a slow. To me, it had a bit more of a slower pace than any previous episodes before, like between seasons 1, 2, and now. This to me kind of seemed like one of the slower paced episodes, if anything else, than any previous seasons before. And honestly, I'm not even saying that is a bad thing, because if anything, the first half, like honestly, honestly, guys, I would kind of enjoy like at least the first half of this episode and how much of a calm decompressor it actually was, because trust me, from this moment on, guys, we are headed right into a fucking shitstorm, and that is no lie. Trust me, it is happening very, very soon. And if you still don't believe me, then look back on the episode and basically pay attention to basically the scene of the police and the heroes basically kind of gathering together. Like, take I'd take that a little too hard, because trust me, from here on, shit is going to be hitting the fan again and again and again. So yeah, um, like you guys are going to have trouble breathing during this whole thing. So yeah, enjoy that slow moment while you can, guys. If you watch the episode again. Now let's kind of backtrack here a little bit and talk about the beginning of the episode, because the beginning of the episode picks off right where the last one left off, with Class 1A arguing about whether or not to go after Bakugo. And like I said last week, much like Captain America Civil War, both sides of the argument are very understandable. But there is a new element to the argument I noticed in the episode, and it's not really anything to do with what the characters are saying, but the facial expressions on the characters. If you pay attention to the episode, you'll notice a lot of the students arguing against going after Bakugo themselves were afraid. They basically saw the power of this new League of Villains, and now they're basically afraid of dying or seeing their friends die. Like a lot of the Class 1A students, like they have now that they've witnessed the power of this new League of Villains, they're like, am I? Should I even do it anymore? Is this what being a hero is like? Like you can see that a lot of Class 1A is struggling to basically say like they're struggling to basically in order to basically remember why they pretty much ended up becoming a hero. Like you can just see it on their faces. Like is this what it's going to be like to be a hero? Am I going to have to face enemies like this in the future? Like you could just see it on every single one of their faces that they are legitimately afraid, which in its own way, I think it's playing off what Aizawa said in the beginning of the series about the dangers of being a pro hero. And yeah, like I said, within Class 1A, a lot of them are starting to realize that there is this a little more than others. Like they're realizing that okay, that they are. I think we forget often at times that these characters are just kids, and because of that, a lot of them. I don't think that they even went into the hero course expecting such danger almost. But now that they've experienced it over and over and over again, it's like, yeah, like this is the real deal. This is what being a hero is about. So, yeah, it's an interesting little look into what like that a lot of Class 1A is starting to have doubts now. And I mean I'm sure it isn't going to last. I'm sure that after this a lot of these students are going to be able to work beyond this, and we're going to get a lot of development beyond this. But a lot of development beyond this that is going to help them work past these fears in the future. But yeah, it's like for now they're really questioning their career path, I think. Now I will say that there was one case that I thought was interesting in this whole argument, which is Ida. In Ida's case, it was definitely more than fear, though. I think that while Ida was afraid, he was more confused more than anything else, and what he was confused about is like he said, he was talking about how this situation is very similar to Stain and what happened with his brother, and he was struggling to find out what was so different this time than the one with Stain, and what made them, Izuku and the others, wanted to go after Bakugo different from pretty much the time that he wanted to go after Stain. And the simple answer to that one is the purpose. Ida, at the time, he was so consumed by hatred and his desire for revenge against Stain, while Izuku just wants to save Bakugo. And it's just in the mission itself, you can see the difference. Like, it's a simple rescue mission. There's no revenge. There's no intended fighting involved. It's just a simple rescue mission with like no intent of any kind of fighting unless absolutely necessary. Which, honestly, with Yaoyorozu's line about is even avoiding a fight even possible, which, yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible to avoid a fight, but it will be. I think it will be possible to avoid as much of the bigger fight as possible, I think. So yeah, that's the one difference, is that one. And the funny thing is about both the situation with Stain and this one, is that you could see both of these situations could be seen as selfish in their own way, but one does carry with it a bit more of a selfless act of just wanting to save another. And I like how Izuku kept reminding himself of All Might's words. Even throughout the episode, to kind of reinforce that yeah, even though it is kind of selfish, there is a noble purpose behind it. With Ida, though, with Ida's whole thing with Stan, there wasn't really much noble purpose behind it. um, so yeah, we actually pretty much learned a lot in this episode, because one of the things we also learn is that in this episode is that naturally Izuku messed up his arms pretty bad, even worse than we thought in the previous arc, and now, and even though a good portion of the damage was healed, Izuku has now been given a warning about the kind of power he used against Muscular, that he really needs to avoid using his power recklessly now, in that sense, because he really does, because he can really only use that amount of power only a couple more times before he destroys his arms completely. And I like how these consequences keep piling up on Izuku, because it reinforces almost the urgency of him needing to find a solution. Of course. But also, like, I'm not gonna, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Basically the phone call Izuku shared with his mom. Yeah, guys, take what Izuku's mom says. Take the question Izuku's mom poses in this episode to heart, because trust me, it is definitely going to play a part later on, an amazing part, honestly, and it honestly puts Izuku's mom like high up there as one of the better anime moms ever. But that aside, we also, like, now there was, now from the whole thing of learning of the consequences of what Izuku's been through, there is an interesting bit that the doctor said about how even among people with quirks, the human body has a limit of how much strain it can take. The limit in question is 80%. So then that raises the question: how much of One For All's power has All Might been using? Because if the same rules apply for everyone, then we have to naturally assume that the only time All Might has ever used 100% of his power is in the fight with the Nomu. But then that could only mean that every other time we've seen him use One For All Might has never gone beyond 100%. That in itself is actually kind of scary. Like, when you really, on the surface it doesn't look like much, but then you really see, like, how much power is contained within One For All. Like, One For All's power potential is off the scales at this point. Like, it's a nearly limitless power, and I know some people are going to say it's too OP, it's too Hex, it's Fairy Tail levels power, but honestly, I'm not surprised, because remember, being a bearer of One For All, you kind of carry the responsibility of being the symbol of peace. So yeah, you kind of need to have a superpower like that. But yeah, if All Might hasn't been using all of One For All's power up to this point, then what the heck has Izuku been doing? Like, holy crap. Anyway, so aside from that, we see UA is taking an even bigger blow to its credibility in this episode, and the thing is, I feel this is a bit of definitely between UA taking a lot of blow to its credibility, and in the conversation between Izuku and his mom. I do feel all this is a bit of foreshadowing that even if things do turn out alright and they manage to save Bakugo in the end, I feel that these blows to the school's credibility are going to still continue to the point where I don't know when, I don't know where, but somewhere down the line, it almost feels like this is foreshadowing that one of these days UA is going to shut down. And if and when that happens, I imagine that the author and the creators of My Hero Academia are going to use that as a chance for a time skip arc or something like that. Because UA closing down, I think, would be the biggest trigger for pretty much a time skip. Honestly, if anything else. But I guess we'll just have to see. Okay, now I've been talking about it a bit, but let's talk about the disguise scene. The disguise scene in this episode with Izuku and his group basically trying on outfits in order to disguise themselves, and that's honestly that's basically 2 times this week I've busted my gut. I've busted my gut laughing. And it's not even the first time was with the latest One Piece chapter, and it's not even that the disguises themselves. It's not even about the disguises themselves, to be honest with you, although they are pretty funny, but rather at the purpose of why Izuku and the others are dressed up. If you think about it, like they're wearing those disguises so they don't draw attention to themselves. But really, if anything, those disguises they're wearing are gonna do the exact opposite of what they intended. Like, if anything, I think it's going to draw. I think it's going to draw more attention to them than actually less attention of just being, themselves. So, and I don't claim to know if this is what was intended or not, but I feel there's some weird commentary that My Hero Academia is getting across about secret identities with that whole scene. I can't say for sure, but yeah, it just felt that way. But yeah, guys, that's my review. A very, very good episode this week. And like I said, from here it's only going to get crazier and better. So, but yeah, tell me what you guys think. Did you enjoy the video? Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.